Testing, 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 testing. Hello, hello. Oh shit, I forgot to get the 10 seconds of silence. Crap. 1 second, guys. I gotta get 10 seconds of silence to record the background noise here. Uno momento. Okay, I did it. We done did it. Uh-oh, Rick Grimes put his first dislike. You silly boy. You fool. Do you have any idea what you've done? Do you have any idea what you have done? Go to YouTube to view your live stream. Edit your stream title and description. Okay, so that's... Oh, I see. There's an update. Go to YouTube to view your live stream. Well, I guess I don't need to do that, but we're good to go, baby. Do you like this early live stream, folks? Maniacal laugh. Ha 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 ha. Zaddy. Ryoko God with 2 buckaroonies. Says, hey, Poppy. Hello, my friend. What are you doing? Step dude. Graham with a 5 says, love you, man. Best way to spend an evening. Thank you, Graham. It's very encouraging. Appreciate that. Trying to make it fun for everybody. I like this mix a lot, but there's like a weird like glitch sound. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it like sounds like, you know, kind of static shock. Static shock! And I'm just not the biggest fan of it in my ears. And I don't know if you guys have fears of feeling it in your ears. Grappe on the first fucking date. I never heard that before. Rick Grimes, I love you, man. Keep it up. Just wanted to say my name. You baited me. You got me hard. Rick Grimes. You baited me, Rick Grimes. How absolutely dareth thee? Why did I name my channel the way I did? Well, it was like initially I didn't think anybody like read shit on YouTube when I started this channel in August of 2014. And I knew Let's Plays were popular, so I was like, you know what? I'll just do a play on the words and call it Let's Read, you know? We're doing a Let's Read. And that kind of went the absolute opposite direction of what I was anticipating, because there was a lot of people who read stuff, and when I stumbled across the creepypasta community, I realized at that moment that that's what I wanted to become, as far as a channel that read stuff. Because if you go back to some of my old stuff, I like was reading like Wikipedia pages and shit like that, and it was crazy, like how popular some of the fucking... Oh my god. Ooh, ah, ah, ah. Ooh, ah, ah, ah. Beep, bop, 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 boo. Big Boy Tings with 100 Aussie bucks says, having a ciggy outside with my AirPods in. Hell yeah. There's no better way to do that. I like to imagine, are you crouched? Are you in like a crouched position as you are scrolling through your phone with a cig in mouth? Those are my favorite positions that one can take as having a ciggy break. But thank you so fucking much. Holy cow, Big Boy Tings. That's a big boy donation right there. Holy shit. And right out the gate too, which like at that point I'm like, well guys, let's wrap it up. All right, stream's over, everybody. We'll see you next time. Just kidding. JK. But thank you so much. I appreciate that from down under. Does that make you cringe when I say that? Does that make you cringe, Daddy? Down under. And then I went down under. Got me a fucking bloomin' onion. His butthole looked like a blooming onion. Dude, you're the man. I listen every day at work. Gets me through the day. Thanks, Chris. I said Krish. Thank you, Krishna. I'm glad I can get people through work. I'm glad I can get people to sleep. I'm glad I can get people to, freaking draw when they're drawing stuff, when they're doing their chores around the house and just chillaxing. I am glad I can be that. You need stuff like that. You need stuff stuff that's, you need podcasts. You need stuff that you can just kind of zone out to, and if it helps you relax, I think that's pretty dope. Angel, don't you even dare. I know where you're going with that one. Don't even try to trick me. I'm untrickable. I didn't fix my issue with what was going on last time, but basically all it means is that I have to just keep OBS on a single screen, and it's not a huge deal, but I'm not even really sure how to go about fixing it. How like with streaming you have to have like a stream key, which connects your like stream, software, connects it to your YouTube or Twitch or whatever, but Lila says, Joel, I must tell you something. At Let's Read. What is it that you must tell me, my child? Please fill me in. Please fill me, my child. Chelsea says, yeah, I listen to you when I'm cleaning and when I'm go to bed or napping. That's awesome. Thank you. Am I a gamer? Oh, I'm a hardcore gamer. Not really. I mean, if you've caught me in Discord, you've heard me raging during Overwatch, and that's pretty much it. Just the endless shit show that is Overwatch. Maya B with the 10 buckaroo says, hello, I can't stay today, but I'm stopping by for a brief moment. Much love. Thank you, Maya. Thank you. I'm sorry you can't stick around, but this will be, for everybody who doesn't know, these streams will be up as unlisted videos on the streams playlist. So if you're familiar with how to access playlists on YouTube channels, this one's called live streams and gaming or some shit of that nature, but it's organized from most recent to least recent, so the top one should be this one, or the most recent one up there, so you should be a good pick up on that if you are so inclined at a later date. Maybe you heard something interesting on a live stream that you'd like to hear over again. Perhaps a hilarious joke, one that involves farts and stinkies. Farts and diarrhea. Oh, thank you, Gothic, and hello, Gothic. How is thine child? Have ever been told I sound like Matt Damon? I actually have not been told I sound like Matt Damon, but I freaking appreciate that. Holy shit. Matt Damon's an interesting fella. I was gonna say fella. That didn't sound right initially. Trying to do a Boston accent does not work well at all. Did anybody see the Matt Damon movie where he's on Mars? I forget that one, where he's growing Burger King foot lettuce on Mars or something like that. How's quarantine going? It is what it is, I don't even know anymore. We're on day 163 of flattening the curve. Flutening the flurve. Lila says, I feel bad that I never talked to you on VC and Discord. I don't know why, but I feel bad. I'm so shy and I'm sorry, Daddy. Sincerely. I know, that's okay. I think we were talking the other day, and I think, man, I felt bad because I'm so honed in on my video game. You guys have probably noticed, I'll start talking to people, and I'm so bad at Overwatch that if I lose any focus at all, hey Carrie, hello. I'll just zone out and start playing. My friend says that's a gift. He says my ability to focus on one thing that intensely where I just zone out everything else is, oh god. A scary person in the chat has arrived. I can't even... Oh, I have to sign into a job. Wait, what the hell? I'm helping you guys out in the quarantine. I appreciate that. I'm glad. I know this is a weird time, you know what I mean? Like, it's just very unprecedented. Maybe not necessarily unprecedented overall, but certainly new to me in our lifetime, I suppose. Why are people calling me daddy? Missing some kind of inside joke. Well, I've given birth to all of them. I've raised them since youth. And I guess they're all just my children. Gummy Worm says, "What the fuck so early? I'll be passing out soon. Don't want to get it. Don't want to get in it, but it's deep, very deep. But hey, I'm trying to be positive, not wanting to cry myself to death." I don't know. What are we talking about? The stream? We're deep into the stream? Spoopy Dad. What up? It's Joel in your ear. You about to feel some fear. Now, would you peer into my eyes and buy some French fries? Joel is 54. Yeah, that would be, that'd be fun, I guess. It's strange to think, like, I imagine, like, the sensation from going to, like, 30 to 54 is probably way faster than, like, 0 to 24, even though technically it's the same amount of time. Days just fly by. I don't know. To a large degree, I do miss, like, the sensation of just being a younger person who's in school, because it just seems like when you're younger and in school, like, obviously you can have bad times, you know, and you desire a sense of independence, which is great as you're older, like, being independent. That was some slam poetry. Some super slam. But I don't know, there's something fun about just, like, when it was, like, back in every year you were essentially hooked up with new people. Every day you could interact with individuals your age, which some people obviously didn't always have the greatest of times, but you kind of don't realize how boring life is going to get later on, you know, as far as, like, your day-to-day interactions, which I guess at that point are kind of just, like, up to you to make those. But if you guys are a young person, be sure to, like, make some friends, you know? Just put yourself out there, because, you know, those are really important going forward in your life, because now shut up and twerk. Alright, I'll twerk. Crystal Valerde with the 15 says, "Something about the way you dressed today, Joel. You looked bootyful." Have you seen my outfits? Though I got myself my very own stalker. I feel like if I had a stalker, I, like, wouldn't want a stalker who, like, stays distant. I feel like I would want them to just introduce themselves, you know, get it over with, whatever is, well, hopefully nothing violent or bad or whatever, because did you ever hear about those stories of, like, YouTubers who had, like, I don't even know, like, violent stalkers? I feel like there's been some stories, ones that I even read on this channel, I think, but I forget who it was. Just scary shit. Don't scare me. Slap some alien cheeks. I'm trying. Jose Flores says, "I just did my last final for college today, and it was pretty crazy, but I'm glad to have this stream to look forward to." Oh, thank you, Jose. Well, I hope you did well on your final. I'm glad it's out of the way and donezo with. Do I have a stalker preference? I don't know. I mean, you better be careful, because if I find out who my stalker is, I'm going to reverse stalk you. And then if you're both stalking each other, I think that's what's just called being friends, you know? Can't outstalk a master stalker. Stonkers. True scary stonker stories. Fry needs my buttered socks. Now Fry's a master stalker. He can find whatever he wants. Who's not going back to college? Oh yeah, did some people, like, since the COVID thing, just kind of decide that they just weren't just like we're not going back at all? That would be interesting. Like, you put all that time into like college, and then it's just like, because I was talking to a girl today at the gym who like is a nursing major, which I thought was coincidental because that's what I used to be. Holy shitter titters! Oh my god! Holy shit, big boy tings! What in the fuck? 200 Aussie down under bucks. Says I'd stalk you and not even hide it. Hey, I welcome that at this point. Oh my god, I think you've earned it with those fucking donos. Holy shit. And we haven't even started reading yet. Just like right out the gate. My god. You're just pulling them out of this money out of a kangaroo pouch right now and just tossing it. That actually would be kind of smart. Say you were trying to hide something, from a nefarious party, and you had a microchip in a kangaroo, okay? And basically you put whatever it is that you're trying to hide inside the kangaroo's pouch for a later finding or whatever. I feel like that's the start of like a silly kids movie, something on par with the new Sonic movie. Which, did anybody see the new Sonic movie? Is it trash? Is it garbo? Or is it just as good? I think we talked about this before, where like whenever they make like a video game movie, it's always like the producer of it like has a son who's like into Sonic or into like some video game, and they're like, and it's like their knowledge of like the story and the lore and all that kind of stuff like pretty much only extends to like, I don't know, like I walked into my son's room one time and it was like, "Are you winning, son?" And he was like flying around at the speed of sound, fucking getting rings, gliding down shit with his soap shoes. I think I saw Jim Carrey. Fuck if I know, dude. But anyways, we gotta make the movie. It's gonna be perfect. Lover with the 2, thank you. I couldn't quite pronounce the name, so I'm just gonna say Lover. Thank you. Kisses and smooches. Imagine going to the gym. Yeah, I don't know. The gym is a weird thing, because it's like, it's one of those things where it's like you don't even know what you're missing, dude, till you get there. But it is nice at the gym to have like your space to do your stuff, because when you have to like wait for availability to use a machine, it's just like the most awkward shit. Like I couldn't imagine going into like a really, really popular, heavily populated gym, prior to Corona-chan. Because God, that would, I don't know, just trying to like have a plan of what you're trying to do and make space to make it happen. Also, I was like, I don't know. I just thought of like an out of context tweet earlier that I could have tweeted out, but it essentially had something to do with like, how some kids like they get attached to certain objects. From the time this kid was born, instead of having a teddy bear, he had an 85-pound dumbbell. If that tells you anything. I don't know. I just imagine like a strong, like a superhero's like documentary or some shit, or like a strong man's documentary. Just some stupid shit like that. And he's just dragging around like an 85-pound dumbbell. By the time he was 5, that thing broke. Crystal with the 5 says, "No, I don't have the balls to stalk anyone." Yeah, I don't know. Like, the nice thing about Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff is that it's like, you can be a voyeuristic creep all you want, but it's like totally chill. It's totally chill, dude. Everybody does it. I mean, really, when it's like right in front of your face, like imagine if like Facebook and Instagram actually notified people of who like, was looking at your profile and like how many times, I feel like I would have had many a conversation with people that I know are like, excuse, why do you look at my shit every day? And like the same shit too. And some of them for extended periods of time. What is up with that? That's kind of weird. I do enjoy on Instagram the fact that you can like, you can see who's looked at your story and stuff, because it kind of gives you a little bit of an insight into like who's interested in your existence, I guess, a little bit. You have a home gym, so if it gets too hot, you can just strip down naked and work out. Yeah, I remember there was like a UFC fighter, Chuck Liddell. I think like someone had a video of him and his wife just like working out naked in their house, and I'm like, that's fucking badass, dude. The guy's just a straight up dog. Yeah, he accidentally. I remember before I even started my own Instagram for the channel. I don't have a personal Instagram. Sorry to disappoint, but I just remember I'd like kind of browse through my friends like a boomer, and he's like, dude, just be careful. Like, don't fucking like double tap any photos or anything, because that will like it, and then they'll know that we were looking at them. I believe it's time to start the show. Yes, it is. Thank you for letting me know. We were going to switch over to the reading screen. Guys, I want to thank all 350 of you guys for being here to start popping off. As usual, if you have a story, please do submit them to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial to submit your story, or submit them to letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. Everything you could possibly ever wonder about my channel is located down in the description box below, so if I spoke too fast, feel free to scroll down there, you'll find it. Follow me on Instagram at letsread.official. Follow me on Twitter, I forget how you say it, at letsreadcreepy. And follow my meme page. It's at horny computer. Probably the best meme page you'll ever come across in your entire existence. The greatest meme page to get 50 likes on a picture. But yes, once again, guys, thank you for being here. Please share this. Click like if you haven't already. Please share the stream out to friends, family. I always want your grandma to know I'm kind of a gilf hunter. So, you know me, trying to reel them in. You heart the collab I did with Slaptam. Wait, did he release his? I think he's releasing, like, because I'm gonna be on Slaptam's channel, I think at least tomorrow, or at least by the weekend. Yes, horny computer on Insta. It's one word. That's the meme page. Pretty funny stuff. Underrated meme page. Thank you, Brittany. Yeah, Slaptam collab for. So tonight we're reading paranormal stories. It's been a while since I've done a paranormal video. Primarily because paranormal stories don't really do as well with. It seems to have a very like niche audience within my already like very niche audience, you know, to begin with. And so it seems like a lot of you guys too, like as far as the majority goes, aren't quite as interested in paranormal stuff. And it's just it's tough sometimes doing them, because it ends up like hurting the channel a little bit as far as like views go, and then like the next video gets kind of hurt. So every time I like start to get momentum going and I do a paranormal video, it sort of kills that momentum, and YouTube sort of exists in a world of like just ever encompassing slavery to the momentum and the velocity of viewership. So I gotta give you guys what you want primarily. I do love paranormal stories myself, but the grand, amazing Slaptam jumped into a stream one time, and he made the suggestion of doing a collab. So I was like, all right. And he does all paranormal stuff, so I was like, well, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. So we got, I think, about 9 stories to spooker through here, and we shall. If you're interested in anything that has my voice, thank you. Oh, okay, Candy Cakes. I was in a. I guess Slaptam did release the video. That makes me curious. I didn't think it was quite out yet, but let's see. Maybe, I guess it is like 12 hours in the future. Slapped ham. So slapped ham. And then I go to the video. So 6 hours goes. This scary footage left viewers baffled. Okay, so is this me? I wasn't sure. I actually forget like which one. Oh yeah, check out Let's Read channel. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so if you guys, if you guys want some more content after this or whenever you want to go over there, Slaptam has released a video including my voice called This Scary Footage is Leaving Viewers Baffled, and I've got a few segments on there, which is pretty sick. Oh, and he's even got my in the pinned comments, so thank you. What should I say? Should I say poopy poopy fart fart as the comment? That always gets me the top clicks and likes. Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen.
Thanks for having me and lending your voice on my channel as well. Aw. Dude, that's a real wholesome Let's Read moment right there. If anybody else didn't feel a little bit of like a warm sensation trickle down their pants that wasn't poop or diarrhea and was in fact a sensation of emotion that made you feel all sorts of good inside, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Suck Her Punch with the 10 says, hi, it me. Definitely would not want that because then I'd have proof that my clone is obsessed and the only thing keeping me sane is telling myself that I'm just reading into it. Anyways, hope you had a good day. Shit, that would be creepy having a clone. I guess Jordan Peele recently did a movie like that where like everybody had a clone. What was it called? Us. Thank you for the 10. Thank you, Sucker Punch. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Any stories about black-eyed kids? I don't know about this episode. This first one I'm interested in. As always, I'm kind of like experience all of these with you as we go along, just kind of dry reading them. Going in dry, baby. But yes, without further ado, I'm going to switch over to the amazing... Oops. Shit, what did I just do? Did you ever click something and your computer just explodes on the inside? What's funny is I remember back in the day, like, having computers that were just so fucking slow that you almost had to, like, strategically plan how you were going to click on shit. You're like, okay, I clicked on this, I made it through there, wait for it to load, wait for it to load. Okay, don't click too much because then it's gonna have to, like, figure out, you know, the series of inputs on that. Oh, shit, I clicked on a random thing. Oh, that's gotta open now. Fuck, well, that's gonna take 5 minutes. But now it's just like in the future, when you can make your own computer, everything is so silkish smooth. No pants and headphones, perfect couple, hell yeah. That's what I like to hear. This one's just called Dark Ambient Hour. Just straight, simple, to the point. That's what I like to hear. And we're gonna switch up this atmosphere here. Once again, thank you to Robin Mikalsen for the amazing background. It's got that synthwave vibe. Synthwave. Your bedtime stories must be true and horrifying. I'm desensitizing myself, I know. Yeah, you must be careful. These stories will almost make you look forward to the morbid world outside, side. Or inside, too, since ghosts, you know. Lils with a 5 says, I would love a clone. Double the money from work. Yeah, there was a whole movie about that. Like, well, I'm sure there's many movies about clones, but yeah, you would just, like, have them all do different stuff. Such as chill with the wife. Haley, thank you. Sets the tone and makes the viewer feel uneasy in a good way. I hope your channel progresses. You deserve it. Thank you. Thank you. Kanapka. That's a cool name. Yeah, a whole episode of you and your voice reacting to an hour-long technical difficulty. Now, yeah. Technology makes me fucking nuts, dude. Like, actually, actually insane. Like, if I was one of those people that had to, like, code stuff, oh my god, I probably would have thrusted myself off of Niagara Falls poetically. In the name of coding. Okay, so we already got the freaking 10 seconds of background noise. Now, this first story, Mum, not Mom, Mum's Morgue Horror Stories. I was hoping there would be like a few more M words in there to give me a tongue twister. Mummy's Morgue Manifests Monkeys. Do I watch anime? You know, I used to a lot. And I appreciate it as an art form. And it is an art form. Especially the hentai. Anybody watch hentai? JK. Coding is a nightmare. Oh, God. Alright, here we go, baby. Sometimes I just, like, gotta get my... Like, whenever the mic's really close to my face, I can't tell if I'm, like, all lined up and shit, you know? And... so I'm always, like, sort of thrown for a loop. Thrown for a loop. She belonged to the loops. My mom is a paramedic. Been in the NHS for 30 plus years, a well-known member of the staff. And like her reputation, she is known for her fair share of ghost stories about the old morgue in the Northwest. In the Northwest, sorry. Someone's gonna have to keep track of mistakes, if anyone is into that. Anybody watch that hentai? Hey, Bobby, what is this hentai? Whoa!
I don't know, Dad. It's my favorite, Dad. Dad, do you care if I join the hentai club on campus?
Bobby, I'm just glad you're getting involved. She is known for her fair share of ghost stories about the old morgue in northwest England. Not being... shit. If it's not my voice cracking, it's me fumbling over words. Courtney Davis, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Smooches and kisses. Smooches and kisses. Smooches and kisses and massive pisses. She is known for her fair share of ghost stories about the old morgue in northwest England, which has been torn down with the rest of the hospital and has a housing estate on it. Her most freaky one. Dude, I'm like... It's like I don't know. It's like if you are... When you first start reading... Maybe I should do some warm-ups or some shit, but like whenever... Oh yeah, 400 people. Thank you guys. Welcome. When I first start reading, it's always like you're just... It's like you gotta like warm up the system. Like doing jump rope. If you ever like jump roped, you're gonna fumble on it initially, but then you find your rhythm. It's just a rhythm thing. She is known for her fair share of ghost stories about the old morgue in northwest England, which has been torn down with the rest of the hospital and has a housing estate on it. Her most freaky one has to be when they dropped an expired patient at the morgue. This happened back in the 90s when the hospital was still used. They had been in the morgue handing over an expired patient. This next bit of info is important to the story. The ambulance bay was a concrete garage with one tiny dim light inside and was directly opposite the morgue/mortuary. The ambulance needed a key to lock all the doors. Mum and her colleague walked out of the morgue, chatting away like you normally do when her colleague stopped dead and stared into the ambulance bay. There, in the far corner, behind the dim light, was a dark figure standing. Now, another bit of info is that this was at night. They brushed it off as just an object at the back of the bay after it didn't move and the light made it difficult to see. They made their way to the ambulance thinking nothing of it and got in, using the key to unlock it. Mum put the key in the ignition but didn't turn the engine on as they had to fill the rest of the paperwork out. While they were filing paperwork out, the ambulance doors suddenly locked. All of them. From the outside. They froze, looked at each other, then looked up in front of them. As they looked up, both of their eyes locked onto the door. Whoops. Locked onto the door. Kind of kills the immersion when it kills the immersion. B McQueen with the 5 says, love the earlier streams. Keep up the great work, Spooky Daddy. Thank you, B. Yeah, I've finally gotten to a rhythm of, falling asleep around like midnight, 1 a.m. and waking up at, 8, 9 a.m. And it's feeling pretty good, you know what I mean? Like my days are so much longer, and it's only been like 3 days. 3/4 of Let's Read viewers are women. I know, it's on Instagram, for a while I checked my analytics and it was actually 50-50, which is really interesting. You don't normally see that too often. When I looked on Instagram, it was like 67% female. I normally never look at Instagram stuff, but I guess, girls are primarily on social media anyway, so it makes sense that it would kind of be favored in the direction of Sheila's, and they're favored in the direction of Sheila's, but I don't know, it's a nice mix of folk in here, and I appreciate it. As they looked up, both their eyes locked onto the door of the morgue, which they had to sorry, I don't know why I'm like... As they looked up, both their eyes locked onto the door of the morgue, which they had watched swing open, and another figure walked silently out of and began to walk straight for the ambulance. In my mom's words, they bricked it. Started to freak out as that thing got closer. They couldn't get out of the ambulance due to it being locked from the outside. Their only choice was to drive off. As they did, the figure vanished in thin air, and the morgue door, it was still wide open. Oh, but couldn't they just go back to their station? Well, that hospital was their ambulance station. They refused to go back until it was bright outside. Mum recalls them coming back in the morning and her colleagues describing her being sheet white. And they were the same after my mom... And they were the... Wait, what? Oh, I see. And they were the same. I see. And they were the same after Mum told them the story. They all refused to park there after that, or even avoid going to that morgue if possible. Whoever lives on that site now, I feel so sorry for you. She has many more ghost stories. Heck, some of them even are quite amusing. They genuinely are, as it's a mix with my mom's dark sack. Sorry, the grammar in this just I'm just getting thrown for a loop here, my bad. Heck, some of them are even quite amusing. They genuinely are, as it's mixed with my mom's dark sarcasm. I'll definitely share them if you guys are down for that. Generally, ghost stuff doesn't bother her, but this particular incident really did. My voice reminds you of Billy Crudup. Who's Billy Crudup? It's kind of a hilarious name. Billy Crudup here. Billy Mays here. Billy Crudup. Almost famous. I feel like I've seen this guy, perhaps. Here he is.
I'm so sorry, I've got a bit of a cold. I know it's, you're giving things away, so yes. I brought a cold to give everybody.
Oh, isn't that great?
Okay, anyways. Moving on. Thank you, though. I appreciate being compared to cute guys. To hot cuties with some salt and pepper hair. Alright, so this next one, actually, I have it up, but I just have it up for, organization's sake. I volunteered after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, and there was something there that still scares me to this day. Now, I won't be reading that one, because Slopped Ham will be reading that tomorrow for the video. Actually, let me check, make sure I don't, because I should have checked that beforehand, but I want to make sure, because if I don't read it, yes, okay, cool. It's the new, yeah, he actually sent me the audio already, so we're good to go there. Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty creepy one from him. He'll be the second story, and then I'll be reading the remainder of the stories, but, so I think that one should be pretty crazy. We read on the new what's it, Louisiana stories last time, like some stuff about like hearing people like banging on attic roofs and stuff like that. And oh, he played Dr. Manhattan, that dude? Nice, dude. I believe it or not, I actually almost like kind of wanted to name my YouTube channel like a Dr. Manhattan type thing. Cuz the only thing about Dr. Manhattan I really don't like is like he's so whiny. I mean, I know he's like stuck as some sort of like god figure or whatever with no answers, but like a Mewtwo. But at the same time, like whenever he kills people, he could just turn them into like atomic dust or something, but he literally blows them into like bones and bits, you know? It like looks like the most, and he creates like the biggest mess ever, just like shoots their guts up into the ceiling and completely ruins the club. It's very rude. He's the rudest watchman for sure. Yeah, where Jensen at, boy? Go get him. He's got to get ready to stream after. We need an after party. Oh wait, shit! I clicked record and didn't. Okay, I went on a little hiking trip to my dad to Shasta, California. Is that a place? Shasta? Welcome to Shasta, California. Okay. I went on a little hiking trip with my dad to Shasta, California, a small town in A small town in northern California near the Oregon border. Shasta is home to a potentially active volcano, named, of course, Mount Shasta. There are many trails on Mount Shasta, so my father and I were excited to do some hiking. We drove up the side of the mountain to the parking lot in which one of the trails begins. I believe it was called the Old Ski Bowl Trail. The landscape was a very barren incline, filled with rocks, boulders, dirt, and very few trees. About an hour into the trail, we came across a very odd assembly of these large boulders. They were arranged in a circle. We thought it was strange, but continued on. If you look up pictures of the trail, you'll see much smaller rocks arranged in patterns and circles. My father and I only encountered 3 people. At least, that's what they appeared to be at first. The first 2 were a father and son. We met them on a steep incline that went along the wall of a cliff that would then switch back as it reached the top of the cliff. We stopped and said hello, talked about the trail, and then went our separate ways. And here's where it gets weird. Dad and I kept walking up the incline for about 2 minutes. I turned around and I saw the father and son so far down the trail. It should have taken them at least 20 minutes to get down to where they were, but somehow they were in... Sorry. My nose was very itchy there, and I think I got distracted. 420 peeps? 420. Wait, is it Shasta? Shasta isn't right. Oh, fuck. Fuck, I'm gonna have to restart the story. Shasta sounds cool, though, right? Fuck, Shasta. It's probably some bullshit like that. Shasta sounds way cooler. Oh, damn it, dude. Whatever, we'll restart it.
Shasta.
Shasta? Shasta. Shasta. Hey, Poison, see you later. He misspells stuff all the time. He knows he messes up. Yeah, I'm not familiar. I usually try to get it right, but Shasta. Okay. Shasta is soda. They didn't name it after the soda? Come on. Shasta Khan. Nice. Alright, fuck. Let me restart that. Shasta. High quality voices, baby. This is what this one promises. Jesus Christ. Does everything need an opening on YouTube? Can't you just get to the point? Shasta.
Shasta.
High quality voices, aka robots. I got it now. Thank you, Britta Olson. Appreciate that. Shasta. Holy Shatsta. Shatster. Okay. Let me reset this microphone. I went on a little hiking trip with my dad to Shasta, California, a small town in Northern California near the Oregon border. Shasta is home to a potentially active volcano named, of course, Mount Shasta. There are many trails on Mount Shasta, so my father and I were excited to do some hiking. We drove up the side of the mountain to the parking lot in which one of the trails begins. I believe it was called the Old Ski Bowl Trail. The landscape was a very barren incline, filled with rocks, boulders, dirt, and very few trees. About an hour into the trail, we came across a very odd assembly of these large boulders. They were arranged in a circle. We thought it was strange, but we continued on. If you look up pictures of the trail, you'll see much smaller rocks arranged in patterns and circles. My father and I only encountered 3 people. At least, that's what they appeared to be at first. The first 2 were a father and son. We met them on a steep incline that went along the wall of a cliff that would then switch back as it reached the top of the cliff. We stopped and said hello, talked about the trail, and then went our separate ways. And here's where it gets weird. Dad and I kept walking up the incline. Sorry. I honestly wanted to just look in the chat to see if, Shasta is correct. Shasta is Mamasta. We aren't very, Did I say it right? Number 15, Shasta the Demon. Let's read Love High Fructose Corn Syrup. What a weirdo. It's so tasty, dude. I just down it by the gallon. Skip the soda, dude. My real voice. The big pronunciation. Dishasta. Okay. I think I got it right now. It's an Angie volcano. Cool. We good. There's a bit of a delay on the how long it is till I see your guys' comments from something that I say, mainly just so that you guys can maintain latency, if that makes sense. There's a lag, but it maintains quality, so there's not a lot of buffering for you essentially. And so if I ever say anything and then there's a 20-second delay before I see you guys respond to it, and then a 20-second delay before I do respond to it, and you're wondering why does he seem off kilter there, with my typees? That's the reason. What does the orca whale signify? Honestly, Robin made that, so you'd have to ask Robin. I don't know if he's here or not. It's pretty cool though. Dad and I kept walking up the incline for just about 2 minutes. I turned around and saw the father and son so far down the trail. It should have taken them at least 20 minutes to get down to where they were, but somehow they were in only about 2 minutes. To this day, I have absolutely no idea how that could have happened. There was no one else on the trail at this point, and I could see the color of their clothes from that distance, so I knew it was them. I pointed it out to my dad. We thought it was weird, but we didn't dwell on it and just kept going. And here's where it gets so much weirder. As we reached the top of the cliff, there was another strange rock arrangement that was off to the side of the trail. This time, there were far more rocks than before, and they were now arranged in rows, almost like gravestones. We continued on the trail and reached another sort of incline with a switchback to reach the top of another cliff. We reached a point where we would need climbing gear to continue, so we decided to head back. When we turned around, I saw a man standing among the rocks, staring at us. He was wearing a button-up shirt, cargo shorts, and a wide-brimmed straw hat. He was at a distance where I should have been able to make out his facial features, but it was almost as if he had none, like his face was just flesh and skin. I pointed him out to my dad, and then the man quickly ducked down behind a boulder and was peering out at us over the top of the boulder. It seemed almost playful, like a child trying to hide. For a few minutes, I was out of it, and I had no recollection of what was going on. According to my dad, I just started walking towards the man in the hat. My dad was calling to me. Joshua, what are you doing? Where are you going? And then I came to. I was standing right at the edge of a cliff, and it was a huge drop, enough to kill me or at least seriously injure me. My dad grabbed me and pulled me back to the trail. He told me to stay put, and my dad went down to the boulders to search for the man, but he wasn't there. There was nowhere for him to go except up or down the trail. It didn't make any sense. He just disappeared. I have no idea what was going on that trail, and I have no explanation for it. I've told this many times to family and friends, and no one has any explanation. I've done research and found similar stories about encounters with a man with no facial features wearing a hat. I've also read that the Native American tribes from the area viewed Mount Shasta as a holy site. They believed it could act as a portal to other dimensions, and that it is guarded by spirits who would potentially harm anyone who tried to go up the volcano. If anybody has any similar experiences or insight at all, I'd love to hear. Please share anything that you have to offer. That's creepy. Joshy Tumblies. Oh my god. I saw a funny meme with Master Chief earlier. I put it on my fucking Instagram page. I can't even remember it, but it was like, Master Chief, you want to tell me what... Let me just find it. It's funny as fuck. I don't know if anybody, like, follows, I don't know if anybody follows, Halo at all, or watches Halo. Let's see.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing in that Snuggie? Sir, going blanky mode.
I don't know why. I've just been like, you ever like hear a meme or like a, you know, it's kind of like Vine where you hear a Vine and you just repeat it like 100 times. Master Chief, do you want to explain to me what you're doing in that Snuggie? Sir, going blanky mode. Like, I don't know why that just fucking made me lose my shit for like 5 minutes, and then I just repeated it to myself over and over again in my head. Because it's like a picture, it's like an action figure of Master Chief wearing some sort of like monk garb, or like as if though it's like his, you know, survival suit while he's out in some sort of wilderness area and needs to like blend in. But he's like a, you know, Master Chief is like 8 feet tall, and he's already got like giant green armor on, but also happens to be wearing just like a massive sackcloth that looks like a Snuggie, and it just looks hilarious. Going blanky mode. So if anybody has a Snuggie at home, just every time you put it on, please say, I'm going blanky mode. I'm going blanky mode. Grunt birthday party. Yeah. Yay! It is weird playing Halo 2 to Halo 3. Like, well, Halo Reach is, if you're familiar, like hit scan. So like, as soon as you look at somebody, like on most guns, it immediately makes, you know, bullet contact. But with on Halo 3, all of the, like the battle rifle is projectiles. So it like takes a second for it to reach, you know, takes a little bit longer to reach the person depending on the distance. Which is kind of cool that you actually have to aim projectiles in that, but it takes a little while to get used to. Zach Parker, your daughter says hello. Well, hello, daughter. How art thou? Joel should post a pic of Zac Efron. Yeah, that's my selfies. What if I was Zac Efron, guys? Would you still love me? Uh-oh, Winter took one too many dabby doos. You have a Snuggie with Hogwarts crest on it. That's amazing. When you put it on, do you go blanky mode? Alright, next story. I have zero idea what I'm dealing with. That's what I said before every math test. Let's hear you should make secret words like code words. I'm confused. What context would I be making code words? Sometimes like memes will pop up in the chat, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even remember where the Buttersock thing came from, but we all seem to get it. Truly, the Buttersock cult has taken over. It's become a hive mind. You wouldn't be subbed to me if I was Zac Efron? What the hell? Why not? Oh yeah, he's gonna be Ted Bundy. Or did that already come out? Also, if it did come out, was it good? Was it good for you? That Zac Efron from fucking High School Musical playing Ted Bundy. Talk about range, guys. Talk about range. Also, he got like jacked for that one movie with the comedian or the other comedian, and my goodness, he had to have taken steroids. I don't know if you remember, that was like years ago, but I just remember Zac Efron in the movie, and like he was just like so fucking like cut and jacked at the, massive at the same time. I was like, dude, that looks like roids. What microphone do I use? So I use on my stream. So what you're hearing right now is coming from an AKG C214. AKG C214 checking in. So that's what I'm streaming to you guys through. But the microphone that I record on that you hear in the videos is an H4n. It's a Zoom handy recorder. It's oh so handy. It's a little bit, has more of like a stereo vibe to it. So it's like more ASMR-y, more intimate. You heard the Ted Bundy movie was good. We want to see it. Hope Ted burst into song. That would be great. Oh, that would be such a perfect mashup. I guess you kind of have Sweeney Todd for that, you know. You thought it was average. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I figured. Bluetooth butt plug. Holy shit, that's funny. Did we say that last time? I'm laughing at a joke that I made up. That'd be hilarious. What time is it for me? It is almost 10 p.m. on the east coast of the United States of America. Joel should just shut up and read. Okay. My husband and I bought a townhouse back in September of 2017, and we've had super weird things happen since. Most of these experiences have happened on our second story. For background, where the stairs come up my office is immediately to the left. Then there is a long hall to the right with the hallway bathroom, the laundry room just past that, my son's room on the other side, and the master bedroom at the very end of the hall. The access to the attic is in the master bedroom closet. As our family goes, it's me, my husband, our son, and our 2 large dogs. When we first moved in, our son was only 2 or 3 years old and had just started making full sentences. He would be playing all day long without any issues, but whenever it started to get dark outside, he started getting nervous and wouldn't want to be in his room. He had come downstairs at one point saying, "Mommy, do you hear it?" "Hear what, kiddo?" "The baby's crying, Mommy." My son is an only child, so you can imagine my confusion at this. I came downstairs with him and I asked him where he was hearing it from, thinking he may be hearing the neighbors through the walls. He took my hand and pulled me down towards the master bedroom, stopping just short of the threshold. Pulled me down, I guess it would be upwards, huh? How did you miss what story we on? What story we on? We're on story, 4, but the one we didn't read because it was part of Slaptime's collaboration. So after including this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have this many. Can you see my hands? This many left. Okay. My son is an only child. Okay. My son is an only child, so you can imagine my confusion at this. I came upstairs with him and I asked him where he was hearing it from, thinking he may be hearing the neighbors through the walls. He took my hand and pulled me towards the master bedroom, stopping just short of the threshold. He pointed to the darkest corner of the room and said, "Over there. The baby is crying over there." My body went numb at this, but I tried to brush it off and told him that there was no baby and he's just imagining it. This persisted for about a month before he finally stopped talking about the crying baby. During this time, I had been doing research on our house, and there had been no deaths in the house that I could find, let alone any kids that lived in the house before us. A few weeks after my son stopped mentioning the baby, I started hearing scratching noises right above my bed in the attic. I told my husband, and he thought we had a raccoon or some other animal in the attic. He went up a few days later, and there was nothing. I'm normally a heavy sleeper, but At least twice a week, I would wake up to a faint scratching noise right above me. I did my best to ignore it and just got back to sleep. This seemed to work, as we hadn't had an issue for a while up until recently. I have always felt somewhat uneasy on the second floor, but I just attributed it to my past paranormal experiences growing up and just being a little paranoid. Now I'm thinking my senses were on point. A few months ago, my husband and I were talking about how our son had this weird affinity for the crying baby when he was younger, and I had mentioned that one day when I was taking a nap, I woke up abruptly to being sideways on the bed with one leg hanging off towards the closet, almost like I was being dragged towards it. However, I don't remember being pulled at all, and I do flop around a lot in my sleep, so I brushed it off. After I told my husband about this, he frowned a bit and said he had a weird experience too recently. Apparently, he woke up one morning around 2:30 to 3 a.m. and saw a figure standing by his side of the bed. He said it was all black, and he could really make it... Whoops. Who farted? Uh-oh, Joanna smells something. Freaking ghost babies, man. There's a cemetery near us that you can often hear a baby crying. It's been reported for years and years. It's creepy. Oh, God, that's... Man, that's so weird, you know? Like, I think we talked about before how, like, you know, like almost different categories of stuff. Like, you got ghosts, and then you got demons, and then you got, you know, Pokemon, shit like that. But then I was thinking, like, about the one where it's, like, a moment in time that's, like, has so much energy that it sort of, like, stains itself to exist in time. I forget what that's called. Like, let me know if you guys remember. Let me know in the chat if you guys remember it. It's, what is that called? It's like basically residual energy, or like residual memory or residual something. But it's basically just like a really negative thing, or I don't, maybe a good thing, I don't really know, but like just like stuff that just sticks there forever, and then you just, you know, like people who, like at the, you know, one of the nuclear bombs in Hiroshima or Nagasaki, like some of the residual energy that existed there in that, like that moment kind of thing, you know. Yes, please do smash that like button. Smash it so hard it leaves residual energy. Nate Dogs, did I see your comment above? Probably not. Sometimes I'm a mixture of reading the stories, looking at chat, and there's a lot of people chatting at once. And sometimes I'm just rambling to myself, so can't always catch everyone's comments unless... Kyle's got a question. Yeah, just throw them out. If I miss anybody's question, you know, don't feel bad about it. It's not that I'm trying to avoid anything. I just kind of like either I'm reading or I like catch something like just on the go. You know what I mean? Psychic imprinting. That sounds pretty accurate too. Like, yeah, I could see all of those being accurate there. Stone tape theory. That would make sense. You smacked that like button so hard it called you daddy and begged for more. Oh my God. That's what I'm looking for. That's the kind of passion we need here. Apparently he woke up one morning at around 2:30, 3 a.m. and saw a figure standing by his side of the bed. He said it was all black, and he couldn't really make out a face or any distinct features. He went to kick the figure, thinking someone may have broken into the house, and his foot went right through the figure. This freaked him out a little, and he is a firm believer that if you don't acknowledge paranormal things, they can't do anything. So of course he rolls over and goes back to sleep and doesn't even think to mention it to me until I told him about my experience. The whole time we've been here, the dogs will randomly get spooked or will stare at something that I don't see. Oh shit, you know what I forgot? Dude, did I miss... I think I missed a donation there. I'm so sorry. Jenna with the 20 beaver bucks from Canada. Hey there, Joel. You ever visit Vancouver? I'd show you around the wonderful city. Have some fun conversation and listen to your sexy voice. That sounds like a good time. I've honestly only been to Canada just at the Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, which is much better than the New York side, sadly, but it was a lot of fun there. Haven't really had a full-on Canadian experience, I suppose, out there. The Canadian experience, sorry. But thank you for the 20. Thank you. Kyle, you're thinking of dropping out of your last year of college to become a cop. You know, I mean, if you got one more year left and you think it's just going to be a financial burden on you because you don't think you'll be able to get an occupation in that degree, or you don't think that you know, full year of college is going to benefit you as far as going into, because I don't know if like having a bachelor's degree within the law enforcement can like give you, I guess, an advantage over your coworkers or something later on, perhaps. I'm not really sure. You should look into that, because if it can give you an advantage later on, like related to law enforcement in the same way that it can in the military, allowing you to be an, you know, a quote unquote officer, I would definitely like try to find some guidance related to that first, and maybe even do some, you know, ride-alongs with cops just to see if, like, you know, it's really something you want to do, you know. My friend of mine actually just became a cop, and it seems like it's, you know, quite a road, you know, to go through, and it's quite the job. Obviously, got respect for him, but it's just it's tough, man. You know, I don't know your community, you know, but at the same time, it's a tough life. Yeah, go. The Canadian side is better, yeah. You need a bachelor to become a sergeant. Yeah, so maybe, like, you know, if you're going for your bachelor's and it would somehow benefit, you know, just, yeah, look for some guidance with that, and, you know, ask, you know, people that would know that stuff. That would be wiser. That would be Budweiser. The whole time we've been here, the dogs will randomly get spooked or stare at something that I don't see. Every once in a while, our wolf hybrid, who is typically scared of his own shadow, will get very upset and his hair will stand on end, and he will emit a low but vicious growl. Our other dog is, I don't know how to say this one. What's a Milnois? Milnois black. It's a Milnois Malinois? Malinois? Oh, it's almost like a German Shepherd type. That's cool. The Belgian Malin. Alright, I'm gonna watch a video.
The Belgian Malinois is a working breed with needs.
Malinois. Well, I guess that's what it is. Joel, have you ever been in handcuffs? I think so. There was like, I honestly don't get in trouble. Never didn't get in trouble that much. I was, you know, I was sneaky. But I think I was out past curfew. You know, whenever you're like 16 or whatever and you're driving, you have to be back home by like, I think 2 a.m. But I was leaving my friend's house at like 4 a.m. because I just like didn't feel like sleeping there that night. And I got pulled over for something to do with my light or whatever, and I think it was all just like kind of like just a silly process type thing. Handcuffed in bed. Oh my god. Besides that, our other dog is a Malinois Black Lab mix, but she is getting old, 10 years old now, and doesn't really do much other than sleep on her bed and try to get all the pets and treats from us. And this brings us to the present. Yesterday there was a decent storm that came through our area. It was semi-dark out and thundered every once in a while. I'm working from home during the pandemic and... Oops. Christian Hernandez with the 5 says, just saw your vid with Slapped Ham. That was the collab I didn't know I wanted, but the one I needed. Love your live streams. Thank you, Christian. I'm glad that turned out well, and I had no idea it was coming out this early. He did say, you know, he's on, I think he's in Australia, so like he did tell me the time frame at which it was coming out, but I don't know if I made the connection and was just assuming it was going to be tomorrow. So my release is substantially after his, I suppose. But it's gonna be lit. Yes, I'll share that on Twitter. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, it's at Let's Read Creepy, and I'll be sure to tweet out the video that I am with him in, so you guys can find it easier. Is it pronounced Joel like whole or Joel? Either one's fine. I guess it just depends on what hemisphere I'm in. You know what I mean? But most people pronounce it like Jole, like whole. Joel. Some people say hello, Joel. I'm working from home during the virus pandemic, and my mom had come to pick up my son at around 11:30 a.m. so I can work in peace without my son continuously bothering me. A few hours later, I'm listening to a podcast while working, and I hear a faint mumble that sounded almost like, "Mommy?" The chilling thing is that it sounded exactly like my son. I turned around to tell him that he needed to go back to his room and not to bother me while I was working, but as I was turning around, I remembered that he wasn't even home. I was here by myself with the dogs. There was no one behind me and no one down the hall. At this point, I tried to brush it off, thinking my mind is playing tricks on me, when my wolf hybrid starts losing it. All his hair goes up. He gets between me and the door and starts doing this low growl. This freaked me out a little bit, but I told him to stop, which he listened and laid back down, but without taking his eyes off the hallway. About an hour later, I was in the zone with work and was talking with a coworker on our team chat. They sent me something funny enough to make me audibly laugh. I then heard a tiny giggle that sounded exactly like my son coming from his room down the hallway, who still isn't home at this point. I nearly fall out of my chair at this point with how scared I was. I got up and checked all the rooms upstairs, but I was home alone like I thought. I had to get back to work as we were starting to get busy, but I was on edge and straining to hear if anything else was happening behind me. About 10 minutes later, I hear the crash of something relatively small but still loud downstairs. My dog starts down the steps while I follow behind them. My PlayStation controller, which was originally on the charging stand behind the TV, was in the middle of the living room floor. This made my blood run cold as we had not had... Whoops. Where's the black-eyed kids? Oh, I don't think there are any black-eyed children stories in this video. Sorry to disappoint ya. This made my blood run cold as we had not had anything physically moved yet, and I had a full-blown panic attack. I called my husband, who was already on his way home, and said he would be there soon. When he got home, everything seemed to stop. This all happened from about 2 to 4:30 p.m. in the middle of a little thunderstorm. I have looked into it, and from what I gather, when something can mimic voices like that, it's typically evil or demonic. Should I be worried? What should I do in this situation? I don't want to scare my son, and we can't move. But I am extremely paranoid and scared to be home alone now. Any help is appreciated at this point. Don't do those stories. Don't do black-eyed children's stories. Why not? I've already done them. Probably like 3 volumes of them now. Immortal needs to be physically moved. You think about the black-eyed peas. Lol. Lolly lol lol lulu lol. You're scared of a crashing sound waking your baby. Yeah, I mean, fortunate not have. Have you guys ever dealt with anything like weird like that? Joel's holes, no poles. Oh my god. Oh my god. The black-eyed kids will follow you home. As long as they feed the chickens. Look at all them chickens. Okay, story number 5. This one's called They Are Following Me Since I Was Born. Oh, okay, we got a good follow story. Followers. Following me since I was born. Maybe the baby had a Instagram and people have been following him since his mom made him an Instagram when he was born. I can't be certain, though. Seven shimmering, simmering swans swimming in the swammy. What's the swammy? Swami? Hey, Sushi Q24 has donated $10. I want to Sushi Q all over you. Wait, is it Sushi Q or is it Sushik? Sushik. Sushik. What's Sushik? Is that like sushi? Is that very similar to sushi? Oh, my cat wants in. Let me see if I can let my cat in. You guys will get to at least be in the presence of Pradeepi. Unless there's a mimic making up his voice. Pradeepa. Yeah. I don't get why he does that. It's like such a cat thing, you know, like whine and whine and whine and whine and whine and whine and whine to get in, and then you go to like open the door for him. I did it gently too, and he did, you know, normally he like, I don't know, he like findangles around the door forever. Like he'll rub into the edge and then kind of like not fully come in. He's like, I don't know, I've been whining to get in, but I'm not sure about it anymore. But then I opened it up and he didn't come in, so I like looked out in the hallway and nobody was there. So there's probably a mimic mimicking my cat, or my cat's just a bit of a prankster. He's a cute cat. He is a baby. I felt bad. I had a lady from are you guys having people from the census come by to, like, I don't know, follow up, ask questions or whatever about your household? Because this, I guess, there's like people that get paid to go around and do census data collection. But like I was just coming back from the gym whenever she rolled up, and I was like, oh god, a fucking government person, what the fuck is this about? So I was actually kind of rude. I feel bad. I was kind of rude to her when I initially talked to her, because I was just like, I'm so used to people from, like, you know, the township giving a shit about, like, you know, different stupid stuff like cutting the hedges and all that kind of nonsense. I'm like, are we about to get fined for something so pointless? And then eventually the conversation led to when she, because we were staying outside, and she saw Pradeep like kind of like against the window, and she's like, oh my god, your kitty. And I was like, yeah, he's a good guy. And she's like, I just had to put mine down yesterday, and she was 20 years old, and I don't know, I felt so bad. I'm like, holy shit, I was just like kind of mean to this lady, and now she's like telling me about her cat that she just had to put down, and she was like borderline crying, and I kind of felt it, you know, too. I was like, fuck. So that like immediately kind of like cut the edge on everything. She was a nice lady though. I feel bad about her cat. Your cat can walk through a solid door. Enters a room which is impossible. Yeah, cats are ghosts, man. I mean, I did the census. Like, we answered all the questions and shit. I just didn't know who she was initially. She got me, sucker. I know. She tricked me. How far are we in? We are on story 5. Yes. I just found out about this sub, so... Oh, okay. I don't know why people always have to say, like, meta shit before they start. I just took a poop and a pee, and I'm so excited to write this story up. She did need a snuggle, but I was like, she was all masked up and shit, and I just like, I don't know. I probably would have given her a snug, but I just like, I could tell she was also like trying to be professional at the same time. I'm a 21-year-old male, but already so many things have happened to me. I'm always scared when I'm alone somewhere or at night because after all what happened, I don't know what could come next. I will tell you guys 1 to 2 early stories, and if you'll be interested, I'll tell everything. Some may sound very unbelievable, but yeah. Some may sound very unbelievable, but trust me, everything is true. 1999. The first encounter, my mother told me this one, and I was just a newborn. My mother was making dinner in the kitchen and I was sleeping in my room upstairs. She had the baby phone on and she can hear me when I wake up. She heard crying through the baby phone, so she went upstairs to check on me. I was still sleeping and she got very confused. She went back to the kitchen and heard the crying again. Checked on me again, but I was still sleeping. She turned off the baby monitor because she thought maybe it's broken. She went to the kitchen and nothing happened for like an hour. Then she heard the crying again through the phone and she started to freak out. She ran upstairs and I was still sleeping and the baby monitor was still turned off. She took me downstairs because she was really scared at this point. She called my father and told him the story and told him to come home. As she was waiting for him with me in her arms, she heard the crying again through the baby monitor, but this time it was different. It started out as a baby cry, but slowly went to a deeper, louder voice. And in the end, it was just a deeper, louder voice, and at the end, it was just, maybe at the end? I don't know what they're trying to say there. I have 3 cats and we just moved, so they go so anxious when I'm not home, they crash when I finally come home and for the night. Yeah, I know. Moving cats seems like pretty difficult sometimes. How cute, you never heard it called a baby phone. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if maybe the person is just not sure of the like typical grammar and not a native English speaker. This should be reading ghost children's stories. Maybe, yeah, if we get ghost children's stories at one point, that would be cool. Yeah, Pennsyltucky. It started out as a baby cry, but slowly went to a deep, louder voice, and by the end it was just a loud, deep shouting. My mom almost passed out, but she stayed strong to protect me. She ran out of the house and waited for my father, who arrived a few minutes later. After this, nothing happened for like 3 years, but this was just the beginning. 2003, I was 4 years old. I remember some parts of this, but mostly my mom told me what happened. We were playing with my mom. Me and my mom were playing with my mom. I was playing with my mom in the living room at night because my father always came home late from work, but we always waited for him. We had a great time as always, but then it happened again. I saw a tall woman in a black dress. I wasn't scared at all, actually. I was very calm, and I asked my mother, "Who's the tall lady, Mommy?" "What lady are you talking about, son?" "The one standing in the corner." She started to freak out a little bit, but didn't take it too seriously as I was only 4 and very creative. "There's no one else here, I promise you." "But she's standing right behind..." "Oh, I see. She's standing right behind you, Mother." "But she's standing right behind you, Mom." Then she really started to freak out, but still kept it together so I wouldn't see that she was scared. She stepped back to show me that no one was there. "See? There's no one here, just the 2 of us." "But I can see her, Mom. She's right behind you. But now she's looking very angry at you." My mom didn't know what to say at this point. My father arrived home before she could say anything. She said right before my father opened the door, she felt a very cold breath on her neck. So, that was my first 2 encounters I had. Oh, I don't really like how that ends. Maybe I'll just say it based on the cold breath. Cold, cold breath. She said right before my father opened the door, she felt a very cold breath on her neck. Stinky, stinky poo-poo. Beep bop boop bop biddy bin dape doop doo da dap doo da dap doo. It's the mother-in-law's ghost, I know. You stole my son from me. I wanted to marry him. Last night you told jokes about somebody's mom that kicked you out of the Fortnite chat. What the hell? I have recently posted a story on this said fuck. Oh shit, sorry. Scatman Joel. I'm the Scatman. Skibba-dabba-dabba-dab, doo-dab-dab. Doo-dab-dab. I have recently posted a story on this thread regarding a dead boy who contacted me in my dream, asking for help. I'm posting this because it affected me even more, and I would appreciate any suggestions or advice. My uncle died 10 years ago. Him and my aunt. Fuck, that sounded weird. Immortal, you need your pipe. Please do be safe. Yeah, Hannah, that was big boy tings. Throwing out the big boy donations. He was very generous. Thank you, good sir. Or ma'am. Or madam. My uncle died 10 years ago. Him and my auntie, why do I keep saying that weird? Him and my auntie were on holiday in Egypt, cruising on a ship that day, going snorkeling, and he had all of a sudden got up and left my auntie without a word while they were preparing to snorkel, went to the edge, and jumped in. They were incredibly close, and my auntie thought it was very odd of him to do that, but 10 minutes later, they found out that he was dead. The autopsy revealed that he had had a heart attack, but also drowned. It's been 10 years and my aunt is still not fully over it. She was on antidepressants for many years. She cried so much that her skin under her eyes were raw. 3 years ago, I had this dream. I was standing in this weird place. There was a corridor in front of me. Sort of one of the walls of the corridor. Wait. Sort of if one of the... Oh, I see. Okay. Do you ever have just, like, dreams? I don't know. Dreams are scary because, like, some of them are just, like, so aimless, you know? They just kind of feel, like, aimless and, like, hopeless and just scary in the sense that, like, if you were actually there, there would just be no, you know, like, life itself kind of has, like, a very ambiguous answers to it. It's kind of open-ended, but I can only imagine, like, if there's somehow, like, the nether realm crosses over into the dream realm, that some of your dreams would be representative of that sort of, like, realm of the dead. And, man, that would be quite the sad place to sort of end up, I suppose. Maybe there's different types of areas, even though I feel like I'm just making shit up at this point. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I was standing in this weird place. There was a corridor in front of me, sort of if one of the walls of the corridor was missing so I could see what was happening. There was this swaying double door on one end and hundreds of people passing through the corridor and through the door. When the door swayed open, there was an incredible light in there. I knew that those people were souls who had passed away. Now, every time they had gone through the door, they were thrown back to the beginning of the corridor, over and over again. It felt like an old video cassette being stuck repeating the same snip. Walking among these souls was my uncle, being constantly thrown back, walking again and again. This carried on maybe 30 times while he spotted me standing by. I could see that he was in a complete and utter shock seeing me there and had the saddest look on his face I'd ever seen. It had pierced my heart. After a while, he strayed away and came up to me, grabbed my shoulders by both hands, tears running down his face, saying, "You have to help me. I don't belong here. I'm not supposed to be here." I asked, "What is this place?" He then replied, "Please, tell Auntie that I love her so much, that I miss her, please." I then pointed at the door and asked, "What's behind the door?" At that point, he became sort of angry and stepped away a bit. This is scary, dude. I don't know, man. I just think about, like, with death, it's like, what if there is something after and you end up in a weird place like this that just makes no sense. Just mindless repetition of confusion and fear. At this point, he became sort of angry, stepped away a bit, pointed a finger at me and shouted, "You were not supposed to know that." At that point, this entity flew in between me and him and with the biggest force threw my whole body away. I could not see its actual form, but it looked like a gray shadow. In my mind, I knew it was a demon or somewhat of a demonic form, and the anger that was radiating from it was the worst I'd ever experienced. It was so angry and shouted at me, "How did you get in here? How were you allowed to witness this? This is not for you to see. Who let you in here?" The voice of it was very deep and not human. He then told me telepathically that I have to pay for witnessing what I had witnessed, and he threw me into this marsh. I knew that I had a choice. I was given a choice. Either I drown and stay where I was among the other souls, or fight. I could feel the mud raising to my chest, then to my neck and mouth. I had never in my entire life fought this much for my life. It took absolutely everything in me to try to get out of there, and when I pulled everything I had in me, I saw a little round window that appeared on this wall. I pulled myself toward the window and squeezed through, and that very moment I woke up. I got an instant migraine, the biggest migraine I've ever had in my life. The pain was excruciating and running all the way up and down my back of my head. The biggest migraine of all time. You are forbidden from going to the West Wing. Do y'all have those dreams where you can control what's going on? Yeah, what is called lucid dreams. Anytime in my dreams where I start to become lucid, where I can start to control them, for whatever reason I get so excited about it that, like, I wake up. It's like it sucks. It's like I almost like try to, like, convince myself, like, no, I can't control this. I'm not dreaming. This is real, and just like hopes to continue to maintain control. But like, as soon as I start to lucid dream, my body just like instantaneously wakes me up, and it really sucks. Because I want to go have some fun. That afterlife world is not heavily guarded, I know. Where's the cherubim and the spooky dogs? The Cherubim and the Spooky Dogs by H.P. Poopstink. I got an instant migraine. The biggest migraine I had ever had in my life. The pain was excruciating and running all the way up and down the back of my head. It felt like someone had beat me up with a baseball bat. I only then found out that this place is called Purgatory in mythology, and apparently guarded by demons. I lit a candle for my uncle. Send him a light, but I still have this on my mind, as I feel he is stuck there for some reason. I have also never passed the message to my auntie. I don't have a heart to do it. Considering how much she has been through, to reopen the wound in her, I just can't. I would really appreciate any suggestions and opinions on what I saw. Oh, edit. Here's an edit that they followed up with. I don't know if I should read it. I mean, I can read it here, but read it in the video just because sometimes they're kind of like all over the place. But I have now contacted my aunt, and this is what I said. I feel compelled to pass this message on to you as I've been holding this for quite some time now because I didn't want to poke into your wound. I had a dream about Uncle Joseph, and I know it wasn't just a regular dream, and he told me to tell you that he loves you very much and wants you to be happy. I do get contacted by the ones that pass time to time as they sense that I am sort of a channel, and I know deeply that if I am being told to pass a message, that I'm compelled to do so no matter what. I energetically feel that he needs to let him go. That he needs you to let him go now. Not to forget him, but don't dwell on this burden anymore. He needs that. I also felt very relieved after doing this. I felt like a block had been lifted off of me so energetically. It was certainly much needed. Thank you all for your thoughts and kind words. I need to hear this. Okay, so I probably won't read that follow-up, I suppose. Maybe I should, actually. I feel like it's kind of... I don't know. Original Asherella with the 3 says it won't let me donate Tree Fitty. Here is Tree. Thank you. I'm almost there. With a Tree Fitty. Probably because if you donate a Tree Fitty, you would bring the Loch Ness Monster back, and we don't be needing that. Fry says, slapped ham like my comment. Nice. I have also never passed the message to my auntie. I don't have the heart to do it, considering how much she had been through. To reopen the wound in her, I just can't. I would really appreciate any suggestions and opinions. Update. I have now contacted my aunt, and this is what I said. I feel compelled to pass this message on to you as I've been holding this for quite some time now because I didn't want to poke into your wound. I had a dream about Uncle Joseph, and I know it wasn't just a regular dream, and he told me to tell you that he loves you very much and wants you to be happy. I do get contacted by the ones that pass from time to time as they sense that I am some sort of a channel, and I know deeply that if I am being told to pass a message that I am compelled to do so no matter what. I energetically feel that he needs you to let him go now, not to forget him, but don't dwell on this burden anymore. He needs that. He'd wish I'd end a story with a Tree Fitty joke. I feel compelled to tell you a message he needs about Tree Fitty. To get across the river Styx. The river Styx, do 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 do. Hannah, how many more stories? We have 3 more stories to go. They're of decent length and girth, I would say. The last one being more so. Well, actually, I just switched that out for the last one, so the last one's a more normal length one. We were at about 450 people. Sweet. So about 2 years ago, my Nana brought home a Ouija board that she had found at a yard sale. I've always been a true believer in the paranormal, and it's always been one of my peak interests. I have heard and read enough stories and watched enough shows to know not to mess with a Ouija board, and quickly, quite frank... I have heard and read enough stories and watched enough shows to know not to mess with a Ouija board, and quite frankly, they kind of freaked me out, so I wanted nothing to do with it. My Nana, on the other hand, doesn't believe in the paranormal whatsoever, and thought it was just a fun game for myself, my brother, and the oldest of my 2 cousins. I left it on the dining room table for days before she made me put it away. I ended up sliding it under my bed in hopes of just forgetting about it. My brother, 11, and my cousin, 12, bugged me about it constantly because they wanted to play with it and I wouldn't let them. I tried to explain to them that it wasn't just a game, and that it shouldn't be messed with, but They were preteen boys who couldn't help but do things that they shouldn't. One day after I got home from work, the boys were there and I had this sneaking suspicion they were playing with it. I looked under my bed and it was there. Past tense of played. One day after I got home from work, the boys were there, and I had this sneaking suspicion they played with it. I looked under my bed and it was there, but I had this odd feeling about it. That's when I went downstairs and interrogated them about it. At first, they denied it, but I saw right through them, and they finally admitted that they had played with it. I asked them if they had said goodbye when they were done, and they said that they did. My cousins like to over-exaggerate stories big time and make things up to be overly dramatic, so when he told me about a couple of things that supposedly happened, I didn't believe him at all. Also, they were boys who liked to mess with each other, so I assumed that was what was happening. A couple of nights later, I got in bed, and as I lay there, trying to fall asleep, I get this feeling like I'm being watched. I looked over my... the Ouija boards, the Waluigi boards. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I hear Ouija boards. Other people say Ouija. Like, it's just... And I kind of went back and forth, but I don't really care at this point. I feel like I've heard people talk... It's more of like maybe like a southern thing to say Ouija. The Ouija board. Such a strange spelling, too. O-U-I-J-A. What if you named your first kid Ouija? Luigi. Wouldn't it be cool to have ghost powers? I don't think so. Because if you're dead... Of course, what is that one, like, ghost movie? Like ghost show, Danny Phantom. Having phantom powers. I looked over at my closet, which has 2 sliding doors, and I noticed one of the doors is slightly open, leaving a small space between the doors. It creeped me out for some reason, so I turned and faced the other way, trying to ignore everything and fall asleep. I finally fell asleep, and then the next thing I know, I'm woken up by what felt like someone or something hitting me in the back of the head. I was laying on my back, so the back of my head was fully on my pillow, which made it even weirder, and it wasn't a light hit either. It freaked me out so much that I was shaking. I looked around my room and I don't see anything, but then all of a sudden I hear my floor creaking, like someone is walking around my bed. I'm so freaked out at this point, it wasn't funny. After laying there for a good little while, I finally got the courage to get up and grab my phone and book it to my living room. I sat down and tried to calm down. I could still feel a tingling, pulsating sensation in the back of my head. I turned on my phone and realized it's 3 a.m. I called my boyfriend, now husband, with tears streaming down my face from being so freaked out. He didn't pick up, and I swear I called him another 15 to 20 times before I finally gave up. I sat in the chair until my Nana got up around 6. I didn't tell her what happened because I knew she wouldn't believe me and would say I was acting stupid. After she got up, I had breakfast and then called my boyfriend again. He finally picked up. He told me he had his phone on silent mode, so he didn't know that I'd been calling. And I gave him so much guff for this, let me tell you. I told him what happened, and he felt terrible and felt like an idiot for having his phone on silent. And he told me he would have come over in a heartbeat to comfort me and was very apologetic. And later that day, he came over and took the Ouija board, and Ashrella's going ghost. She's going full-on ghost. I'm in the box, ghost. What's up, demons? It's your boy, Skinny Penis. Later that day, he came over and took the Ouija board to a junkyard to get rid of it. My husband is the only one in the family that knows what happened, and I didn't experience anything again after I got rid of the Ouija board. Moral of the story: Ouija boards should not be messed with. How old is a story writer? I don't know. They do not include that information, but basically they were young when stuff happened, and then I think she was in her older teens, with younger cousins, 11 and 12, preteens, because she mentions them being preteens, almost implying that she's older and more mature. And then I guess this was like a high school sweetheart that became her husband and stuff, so I can presume that she's probably in her 20s or 30s. My voice is so ASMR worthy, making me sleepy. Go to sleep. The Bluetooth butt plug is connected to your Ouija board. Yes or no? Give me a shock or give me 2 shocks. If you're a friendly ghost. Hey Alec, what's up, dude? Okay, this one's called Mike. It's pretty lengthy. Joel, did I always get an A in English class? Actually, no. I wasn't very exceptional in English class when I was younger. I did not take it very seriously. I mean, I think I tried at certain times, but then there were other times where I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I hate reading. Oh, I hated reading when I was younger, especially in high school and middle school. Well, pretty much forever, because I was actually really bad at reading in 2nd grade because I just moved there, and the school that I went to prior, I guess, was pretty shitty. So I was like really behind on reading skills, and I just remember like we had to pick books from the library for some sort of reading day, and I picked all these like Dr. Seuss books because he was easy to read, you know what I mean? I was like, that's the only fucking shit I know how to read is Dr. Seuss. And my teacher was this really nice Ecuadorian woman. I miss her. I had her for 2 years because she went from like 3rd, or I guess I was in 3rd grade. Fuck. Yeah. But she actually followed us from 3rd to 4th grade, which was kind of neat. Just made the year transition easier. But anyways, she was like, no, you're not reading, freaking Dr. Seuss when you're in 3rd grade. I don't know. At that time, I guess that was like baby books, Fucking baby books, dude. So like she was like one of the ones that kind of went hard on teaching me how to like catch up with reading, which was really nice. I mean, like teaching a kid to read, like it can be easy for some, but some kids like myself, it just took so long. And like reading books I've always just associated reading as being something difficult to do, like not anymore, but like when I was younger, it was like even in the middle school and in high school, it was like mainly in high school, it was just more of a pain in the ass. But I feel like if you can teach a kid how like to read, early on, and to enjoy reading, to associate it positively with something, like they have such an advantage right out the gate. Like I remember in kindergarten, there was this one kid who was so much better. He would read chapter books and shit, you know what I mean? And like we would literally like go up to him and like hand him shit to like for us to read, and it was like he was doing goddamn a magic trick, I was like, what is this sorcery? You know how to interpret the language, the tomes. You refuse to put spaces between your words. That's funny. But yeah. And I remember being in high school. And in high school, like your mentality, like I still have a lot of the same personality traits that I had in like late, senior year of high school. And I just remember like one of our English classes was still having us do sort of like vocabulary, which by that point, I don't know what it was, but like vocabulary, just the fact that we were doing it seemed like such a joke that, so I could do other homework. I would ask my mom to do my vocabulary homework, and she would do it. Because it was, it was just like easy, like busy body work, and she was like, sure, whatever. And so like I'd be doing my other homework while she was just like sitting there like doing my English homework like it was a crossword puzzle or something for her, just really funny. She's really nice. Joel, 1995 kindergarten. Yeah, maybe. Carrie with the 20 beaver bucks says, thanks for being you. You are welcome. Thank you so much, Carrie, for the 20. Your brother's 2 years older than me, and I went to his class for reading. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, like my one buddy, he has 4 kids. He's a little bit older than me, and like he he said that basically his technique to get his kids like so proficient at reading was that he would tell them that they had to go to bed, and that they had to give him their what's it called, the Kindles or some shit, and he said that you can stay up past bedtime or whatever, but the only thing that you can do is read. So like obviously if you're a little kid and you don't want to go to bed, like you start associating a sort of like guilty pleasure to like or a sort of refuge, I suppose, with reading, and they all became like super proficient readers very, very quickly. How many donations would it take for a dramatic reading of The Cat in the Hat? It's got the same story structure as a lot of the intruder stories you read. That's very true. The Cat in the Hat is a fucking home invader, dude. I'm gonna introduce you to my mom. She's really nice. You guys would love her. All 500 of you. Hi, Mom. I want to introduce you to 500 of my online friends. They like to listen to me read stories while they're all naked in bed. So this next booth story, and for my next trick, this one's called Mike, and it's just like big M, big I, big K, big E. Maybe it's not even Mike. Maybe it's just 3 or 4 separate people with like individual letters. Oh shit! Oh fuck! Now they didn't. Twerking was something that I learned whenever, pretty much at birth. You just learn twerking. It's just kind of part of my culture, especially as a child. Teach your kids how to twerk. Carrie, thank you so much for the 50 big beaver bucks. Says KK, need a twerk. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to get a twerk in, If life throws you lemons, make your ass twerk, baby, girl. It's all so simple. Thank you, Carrie. I really appreciate that. What do you do for work? I read ghost stories to hundreds of naked people in bed. Draconian Overlord. I'm naked. I knew it, dude. I freaking knew it. I still can't twerk. I'm 47. Well, I think that's, it's certainly not, there's certainly no cutoff for twerking, but, at this point, I think it's time to pursue other endeavors. John Smith, that's amazing. Thank you for letting me know that. Immortal fan. I'm naked in front of the fan. Yeah, what's that one picture? It's like, if you ain't gotten out of the shower and laid naked in front of a fan while it blows sweet kisses on your meat and taters, you ain't living, my friend. You ain't living. It's like some albino dude, which is even funnier. Archangel, good evening. All right, my friends, let's move on to this Mike story. Thank you again for the donations, your generosity, and you guys being amazing. I hope everybody's practicing their twerks at home. Meat and taters. My friend Emily called me one night during our sophomore year of high school. She was audibly shaken and told me that a name had popped up on her wall. She knew I was into these types of things, so I told her to send me a picture. I wish I still had the picture today because you really had to see this name actually bubbling up under the paint on the wall, the same way that you get air bubbles while applying stickers. The name Mike was clearly on her bedroom wall. She assured me that she had never seen it before and that she had slept in the same room her entire life, so I could only assume that she was telling the truth. I had seen plenty of ghost hunting TV shows, so my first thought was to do an EVP session. Basically, record yourself talking to this spirit and hope that you can catch it talking back. So I told her to do one and to call me after to... Oops. Oh, I just remembered. I guess I kind of had a paranormal experience. Sorry to change the topic, but I kind of had a paranormal experience years ago. I was hanging out with a friend. They lived in this like old mansion that, you know, gets rented out now, that they were renting at the time. And they were in the attic and just like, you know, they're asking some little girl or something like, you know, the typical like, are you, who are you? And, you know, that bullshit. And then I remember like I had, you know, the fact that I had some experience with editing audio and stuff and isolating audio. They thought that, you know, in it, they're like, you know, they didn't hear it in the moment, but then they saw some like sort of like sound wave spike on the recording, and, you know, they gave it to me and we like isolated it. I don't know if I still have it or not. I'll have to look and see if I can find it, or even how I sent it to her. But basically it was just like a little girl's voice saying like, it's just me. Like it was like really creepy because we played it over and over again. It was just like, it's just me. I don't know. So yeah, you know, people ask me if I've had any paranormal creepy experiences. Like that one was really weird, especially sitting in here in my room, like listening to the audio, like play back over and over again, trying to like isolate the sound and stuff. It's just me. Basically recording yourself talking to the spirit and hope that you catch it talking back. So I told her to do one and to call me after she listened. Okay. It's Daddy. It's just me, Daddy. So I told her to do one and to call me after she listened to it. She called maybe 5 minutes later and told me that she didn't hear anything particularly concerning. I asked her if she specifically mentioned the name Mike, and when she said she didn't, I told her to do another recording and mention the name specifically. We hung up the phone and she called back in under a minute. She said that as soon as she asked about the name, there was an owl that started to hoo outside of her window, which didn't seem too odd to me at the time. I told her that I would be over after school the next day and we would see what we could do. We got to her house at like 3:15ish. Her dad was still at work, so it was just us and the dog, who was really aggressive, so we put him in the garage. The first thing I did was grab one of her dad's beers, and she got an apple to eat. We sat for a bit in her kitchen and talked about a couple of things, I'm sure before beginning our ghost hunt. Now, when I tell this story in person, I make sure to explain the layout of her house, so that it's easier to imagine what I was seeing. For the sake of this post, I'll just tell the story. So we start the recorder and start to walk her upstairs. I ask the typical questions like, is there anybody here with us? And is there something you want to say to... Oops, sorry. It's just me. I forgot how to read for a moment. Yeah, sometimes in my brain just breaks. And remember, it's just me, Daddy. Yeah, I could say it at the end. Oh, is Alec here? Mr. Alec. Or I'm thinking of a different... Sorry, I'm thinking of a different one. I asked the typical questions like, is there anybody here with us, and is there something you want to say to us? But as soon as I asked about the name Mike, an owl started to hoo outside of her window, which startled the both of us. I turned to walk down the stairs, and while my back was to her, I heard a loud thud and turned around to see Emily on the floor at the top of the stairs. There were only like 6 steps. I know this is cliche, but the look on her face was as if though she had seen a ghost. She stood up and practically jumped down the stairs, slipped her shoes on, and ran out the door and down the street. I was already spooked by the owl, so of course I started running after her and away from the house. I finally caught her, and she was crying frantically while fighting to catch her breath. I asked her if she was okay and how she fell, and her response was, I didn't fall. I was pushed. You will get a chance to hear other stories from me in the near future, but... What is this? What is this? Now, what is this all about? What's this all about? You will get a chance... Okay. You will get a chance to hear other stories from me in the near future about why I felt the way that I did upon hearing this from my friend. But I was upset. I stopped being scared. I felt as if though I could control whatever was going on in her house, and that hurt my friend, and... sorry, it's just like grammar's throwing me off here. Alice, thank you. I'm glad you like him. Whoa, Hannah's going to a nightclub. Hannah, you're always on here, but where's this Dana character? She's always coupled with you. And I feel it's a little fair for her not to be included. I stopped being scared. I felt as if though I could control whatever was going on in her house, and that hurt my friend, and I was ready for a fight. I took her back inside and say to her at the kitchen... man. I took her back inside and sat her at the kitchen table. I grabbed my tape recorder and the beer bottle I had drank and went upstairs to provoke the spirit. I threw the bottle on the ground and said, "Since you want to be tough, pick the bottle up and hit me." Nothing happened, and I turned to go down the stairs. I turned the tape recorder off and sat at the kitchen table across from Emily. Her back was to the stairs. After I pressed play on the recorder, she kept telling me to stop it and to turn it off. I brushed it off at first, but as she got more persistent about it in my gut, it started to tell me something isn't right. So I stopped the tape recorder and asked her why she didn't want me listening to it, and she couldn't give me a straight answer. I pressed record on the tape recorder and continued asking a couple of more times before she sank from her chair and sat, kneeling on the floor next to the table. I asked, "Emily, why are you sitting on the floor? Get up and sit in the chair." She replied, "Fuck. Emily, why are you sitting on the floor? Get up and sit in the chair." She replied, "I don't want to sit up high." I had no idea what she was talking about, but every time I told her to sit in the chair, that was her reply. "I don't want to sit up high." Now remember, I was recording this, so I stopped the tape recorder and started to rewind it to listen to what I had just recorded. When I pressed play, Joel do be granddaddy-ish though, that's true. I'm a bit of a granddaddy. A grand old daddy. When I pressed... What the fuck? Can I say the fucking word? When I pressed plays befriend... What is this sentence? When I pressed plays friend Emily began... okay, whatever. When I pressed... Dude, try and say that. Say pressed play, but like... Say when I pressed play 5 times fast. Go. Fuck. I don't know why I can't do it. When I pressed play, my friend Emily began to crawl around the table very slowly. As I listened to what I had recorded, I heard myself tell Emily to sit in the chair. But then there was a man's voice that would say, "I don't want to sit up too high." Literally right before Emily said it. Not like an echo. The entire phrase was said prior to Emily speaking on the recording. So I'm hearing this as she's basically crawling towards me, and we lock eyes for a second. Then she starts like jumping while on her knees, banging them on the floor and screaming. I was absolutely terrified. But I was also 6 foot and 200 some odd pounds, and she's maybe 5'6" or 7" and probably 130. So I just told her she'd better calm down before I beat her. I laughed looking back on that, because I really didn't mean it. She gave me this super creepy, evil glare and giggled in the most evil, spiritish sort of way. She got up from the ground and walked out of the kitchen and up the stairs, She got up from the floor and walked out of the kitchen and up the stairs while I'm facing from my seat. On her way up, she grabs the beer bottle I threw on the ground earlier and the apple she had when she was pushed before running out of the house. She then walks back into her room, at which point I no longer can see her and I'm left sitting at the table trying to make sense of what I just experienced. As I'm sitting there dumbfounded, she comes down the stairs with the beer bottle but no apple, and she's holding the bottle upside down by the neck, with the same creepy, evil glare as if she wanted to hit me with it. Remember, early when she first came back in the house, I threw it on the floor and told the spirit to hit me with it. I once again told Emily, "Emily, I love you, but if you try to hit me with that bottle, I'm going to knock you out." She did the evil giggle again, and she told me that she wasn't going to hit me, then walked past me at the table and put the bottle on the sink. She then sat at the table in the chair next to me and just started rolling up the newspaper sitting on the table. Emily has this obsidian rock that she put on a string and wore as a necklace. She had a particular bond with the rock and always had it on her. I noticed she wasn't wearing it and asked her where it was. She just sat there with her head down, rolling the newspaper, and said, "What rock?" At this point, I was positive that I was no longer talking to Emily, and I grabbed her hand. As soon as I did, she looked up at me and her entire presence changed. Just by the look in her face, I could tell that she was back, and she just sat there looking at me as if we were in a mid-conversation waiting for me to speak. I said something along the lines of, "Dude, what was that?" She, of course, had no idea what I was talking about. Turned out she didn't remember anything after coming back inside after running down the street and sitting at the table. After showing her the recording of the man's voice and her talking with no recollection of doing so, we agreed to let the dog in and keep every light on in the house and sit in our room together until her dad got home. It was a terrifying experience. Emily never experienced anything else after that, but I had one other run-in with what I believed to be the same Mike entity. It happened 3 years later. The year after I graduated high school, I was telling the story to my girlfriend at the time, and we were just hanging out. We both had 2 days off from work, and it was the middle of summer, so we sat out on the balcony with the radio right outside the door. A few hours later, I had to leave for a little bit and received a picture message about an hour after I left. It was a picture of the concrete outside the back door, which we placed the radio. Whoops. It was a picture of the concrete outside the back door where we placed the radio. The names Mike, M, and 91 were etched into the concrete, as if some kids did it when it was first poured. Of course, we would have seen it prior to this if we had been there, seeing that we already were in the apartment for a few months at that point, and that was the exact place we put the radio when we were hanging out. That's how she noticed it, because she was putting the radio away. And that's where the story ends. I keep in contact with Emily to this day. She's always uncomfortable talking about it, has no problem confirming the story, at least from her perspective. Kind of a side note, Emily's middle name is Rose, and there's a movie called The Exorcism of Emily Rose, so that's kind of weird. But she's a mother and a wife and is leading a seemingly happy life now. This is my first experience with a spirit possession, and the least violent. I will be posting the second story time. Fuck. I'll just end on the happy life, I guess. I don't know where to end that one. Scat sandwiches. Who's eating that? You know what was kind of sad today? Was at the gym. I've been kind of going to like open gym where you can kind of just roll in whenever during specific hours, and like there's a friend of mine that I've kind of knew there for years, you know, but then only recently did we start becoming more, I guess, like friendly, and just found out that he's moving to another town and will no longer be attending that area, and it's just kind of like, fuck, like that's once again like one of the things, like as you get older, I just feel like people come and go so quickly sometimes. It's just sad. You're like, oh sweet, a friend. Not quite. Loser. Fucking dummy pamps. She's always uncomfortable talking about it, but has no problem confirming the story, at least from her perspective. Kind of a side note, Emily's middle name is Rose. There's a movie called The Exorcism of Emily Rose, so that's kind of weird. But she's a mother and a wife, and seems to be leading a seemingly happy life now. Streams, yeah, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, yep. Videos, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Streams, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's sort of an uncertain time of the evening on the East Coast. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I just noticed that, like, as you get older, it's just hard to, like, make friendos. It's just because, I mean, your social circles start to, like, close, you know? Or your social opportunities start to close. It's just a strange realization. You kind of feel it creeping on, like, as years go, but then all of a sudden one day you're just like, well, fuck. Guess it's just me and the cat. Alright, guys, this is our last story of the night, called Freaky Coincidence or a Supernatural Patient in Room 7. This should be pretty sweet. Yeah, I've got thousands of friends on the intranet. I know there should be more social places for adults, because it's like, you got bars, but I mean, they're kind of like on hold right now. But even then, I was never really like a big bar person. I mean, most of the time it was all college students age that would go, which isn't bad. I still relate to them pretty well, but you know, they're all like 21, 22. So it's a little bit of a difference, you know, as far as trying to find things to associate about. And just in general, like, house parties were fun, you know what I mean? Like, house parties were a cool thing. Obviously, they can get a little wild, but they were like a cool, really cool thing. Oh shit. Am I twerking? Oh, yes I am. House party. Whoa. Yeah, Carrie with the 50 big ones again. Joel, can you give Pradeep a snuggle and a kiss for me? I can. Is he? Oh yeah, he didn't come in. He played Ding Dong Ditch on me and didn't come in. Little bugger. He's such a little prankster he is. But thank you, Carrie, for the 50. Holy shizzers. And right at the same time here we got Jenna with the 20. You guys are both from Canada, which is amazing, with the 20 Canadian maple syrup dollars. Says early nights for me, but will continue to listen to your sexy voice till I fall asleep. Hope to see you in my dreams, Joel. In the astral realm. Well, thank you, Jenna. Thank you so much for the 20. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Carrie, again. Thank you, guys, so freaking much for your generosity and just overall amazing support. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I don't know, like, maybe I need to find some new hobbies or some shit, or just branch out. It's even tougher now because, like, even just, it's so annoying, like, going to public places and, you know, you gotta, like, wear your mask, obviously, or whatever, but, like, I'm sure it's that way everywhere you go. But it's just, like, I don't know about you guys, but have you noticed, like, every individual that you interact with is just on this, like, constant teetering edge of, like, anxiety, like, there's so many thoughts probably going through the mind, like, you know, whether it's about actually getting sick, whether it's, you know, is that person parent, you know, like, they're worried if that person's mad at them or something, or is going to be mad at them, or that person's super sensitive about things and they don't want to, like, cause some sort of social distress there, so they're just anxious because they think you're going to be anxious, you know what I mean, or whatever the fuck. And then I just feel like those sort of, like, natural opportunities of, like, making friendships and relationships with other human beings has been, like, diminished so much. Like, just the basic concept of, like, talking to your cashier in a grocery store is now sort of laden with an experience of anxiety. Maybe it's, like, not necessarily that I feel one, but it's like I just feel like there's everybody around me is sort of existing in a state of, like, get the fuck away from me. And just annoying. It just sucks. It's like a really big social strain, I feel like, and I'm not a fan of it at all. Kim Chi 93 with the 4 buckaroonies says, I wish we could all do a buttersock party. That would be amazing. I would love that. And thank you for the 4. And 8 Warren with a 5 says, remember Raven said people come, people go. It's pointless to get upset. Nah, I know. It's even weirder whenever like friends from like your youth start to disappear due to just like either conventional things or like something else, you know, their own personal choices. And yeah, Eloquent Tire, that's a good point. Thank you guys for the donuts. I appreciate that. That's a good point. She says, I think what sucks is that your parents load your childhood with interactions and activity, and it stays that way until you graduate high school and college, and then it's all on you. I know, like creativity of thought, I think, is one of the hardest things to kind of like bury into people. You know, like multifaceted thinking, critical thinking. How do I make the most of like my life? You know, because so much of like the schooling system is so regimented. It's just like, and I think that was something that I really enjoyed, just like that structure, even though like every aspect of school in some fashion was like borderline torture and annoying, but at the same time you like didn't realize like maybe I enjoyed, you know, being in that endless prison or something like that, because at least I was around people that I knew and were of my same sort of demographic, I guess, of age. And it kind of reminds me of, what's that movie where they're like in prison, Shawshank Redemption, where the old guy, he finally gets out of jail after pretty much a life sentence, and he's like in his 80s, and he's going about society and has, you know, all of his family are dead. Pretty much he doesn't know anybody anymore, and he ends up like, you know, hanging himself because he's just got nothing, like everything he knew was in prison and in that thing. And I'm not saying that's the exact thing, because like life after college isn't like, you know, or, you know, school in general isn't like escaping prison or whatever, but at the same time, like that sort of like regimented culture that is almost curated for you to a certain degree, it disappears, and you do really, you get a lot of freedoms, but honestly sometimes I almost wonder if some people just like don't enjoy freedoms. How old am I? I'm 30. And Jake Soley with the 5 says, can't follow all the rich mommies with the huge donos, but hopes this helps. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Jake. What's poppin', my dude? Everything does go fast. It's just sometimes overwhelming, I suppose, but I think that's important to like keep community. I think a lot of the times we as humans find a lot of purpose in the communities that we surround ourselves with, you know. In fact, I would say that we derive pretty much the entirety of our purpose in life based on those who we surround ourselves with, and or at least those who we share, you know, those similar interests. Or Amy just like it keeps asking where I'm at. I'm in Pennsylvania. All right, there you go. If we stop talking to him, he'll stop too. I guess we do have one more story to go. I doth not want to let you leave me. Don't leave me like everybody else. JK. He was institutionalized. 30 people gang. Hell yeah. 30's the new 1,000. Because there's so much information that we might as well be 1,000 years old by the time. Just kidding. Okay. That clarifies nothing. What do you want to know, Amy? Why do you want to know so many things? I'm a pediatric nurse and was on a night shift recently. I was in charge, so the girls before me handed over... was in charge, so the girls before me handed over that they logged a... Oh, that's weird. I was in charge, so the girls before me handed over that they logged a clinical engineering job for call bell number 7. This was because the call bell kept ringing non-stop, starting at 2200 hours. There were no patients in the room, as it's an empty double-door room. The call bells were disconnected from the wall, and it still continued to ring. I said I will hand over in them. I live in Narnia. Yeah, if you want to find me, just enter your closet. I'll be there, waiting. I said I'll hand over in the morning to the charge nurse so she can follow up with the engineering. Fuck. I am just a spirit. Blue Balls, Pennsylvania, yeah. Wait. I said I would hand over in the morning to the charge nurse so she could follow up with engineering. I thought nothing of it, as it was ringing when I started my shift, and just thought how annoying it was going to be all night, as it dings really loudly every 2 minutes. At midnight, before we start doing rounds, I went to inspect the room and note all the call bells are disconnected from the wall, and nothing looks amiss besides one pillow missing from the bed next to the door. I remind myself to bring a pillow next time. I walk past to ensure the room is set up for a potential new patient in the morning. My coworker, Molly, is floating between pods. The ward is divided into 2 pods. Molly is a serious and hard-working older nurse who is a devout Christian. She is going into room 8 to do an IV antibiotic, and I walk down with her as I am the nurse looking after pod 1, where room 7 is located. I'm about to allocate a room to a new kid coming in. I walk past room 7 as it's on my way, and I think I should grab a pillow for the bed by the door, and I look into it as I walk past before getting a pillow, and oh my lord, the bed is sitting up, and it looks messy, as if someone was sitting on it. I thought someone from a different room could have been messing around with the bed, so I wasn't shocked or worried. Molly finished her antibiotic and was gelling her hands outside the room next door when I asked her to come into room 7 and have a look. I asked if I was preparing the room for a new admission, and whoops. Hey, Janet Galad, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but says, I came from Slaps Ham's channel. Your channel seems interesting and you have a good voice. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, it's just spooky stories all day, baby. I thought someone from a different room, and then, yeah, so if you're new, like I said before, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time is new videos, and streams are every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Essentially, the day we're recording stories the day before and streaming it, and it's usually in the evening time, somewhere between 7 and 9 p.m. starting time. I thought someone from a different room, but she asked if... Oh, okay. She asked if I was preparing the room for a new admission, and I said no. I asked her if she sat the bed up, and she said she hasn't been into the room as there aren't any patients, and she left the call bell problem to me as I was in charge. I say it looks like someone is sitting here waiting for their call bell to be answered. Molly pats the bed and says, "Hello, patient," and looks at me, and I jokingly say, "Hello, mate, can you please start?" What's this? Kimchi with 3 says, "Say this. A North Carolina town." Okay. Fafftown.
Hey, listen.
Or I could imagine it'd be Fafton. Is it Fafton? Fafton. That sounds very British. Welcome to Fafton. It looks like someone is sitting here waiting for... Oh, she says, "Hello, mate. Can you..." Hello, mate. Hello, mate. Molly pats the bed and says, "Hello," and looks at me, and I jokingly say, "Hello, mate. Can you please stop ringing the bell? You're keeping the younger kids awake with all the noise." and we walk out shaking our heads at the weirdness of the situation. We look up as the call bell dings, and then the signal goes off for the first time since we started our shift. It never went on again that night. I had to explain to my manager why I logged an engineering job and for her to cancel it. There are so many potential explanations, but we have many odd things happen in Pod 1 during the night, including people seeing and hearing the boar. Fapton. Yeah, did I say it right? Where's she at? Kimchi message retracted. Oh, Poff Town. Oh, it's not like a Puffton or anything like that. Poff Town. Poff. Including people seeing and hearing the boy with the guitar, seeing a little girl come into their room, and children sleepwalking. Fuck, how am I messing up the last thing? Poff Town. Any Omega males here? Oh yeah, we're everywhere. You can't stop it. Fries a Gamma from Fat Town. Including people seeing and hearing the boy with the guitar, seeing a little girl come into their room, and children sleepwalking and standing in the middle of the hallway, staring at the room. Skadoosh. We did it, my friends. We done did it. And remember, Pop, what was the thing we said earlier? Oh yeah, I'm still here, Daddy. Oh god, that'd be a little, like, probably the creepiest thing I've ever said on a video. On a video. Nice job, everybody. We've done such a fantastic effort tonight. Being single is nice because you can flirt with everybody. Everyone, including the dog. Hey, dog. Chiefy Snuggy. And remember, I'm going blankie mode. What does it say? God damn it. I think it's blankie mode. That would be funny. That would be funny. I like funny stuff. Blankie mode. Well, there's an actual song called Blankie Mode. I hope this doesn't blow out my ears.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing in that Snuggie? Sir, going blankie mode.
This is like so fucking stupid. Like, he almost looks like Baby Yoda. Oh, it is Baby Yoda. Oh, they literally... It is Baby Yoda. I was like, it looks like Baby Yoda's like full-on like Jedi garb. You know what I mean? And then they just put like Master Chief's head where Yoda's would go. Sir, going blankie mode. I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. Oh shit. Brittany T with the 35 buckarees. This is $35 for 35-ish mistakes. I lost track, lol. Sorry. Thank you for another great stream. I hope you know that you're an amazing person. You're extremely appreciated. Love you, Joel. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you. I wonder if Mr. Jensen is around tonight, because normally everybody does a little after party over in his neck of the woods. But I did see that he streamed earlier today, so I don't know if that if he's doing multiple streams or if that sort of like impeded him from doing a later one or what's going on. Alright guys, I'm going to read the outro. It'll have a lot of awesome information for you that you're going to want to hear. Alright everyone, we got an important announcement to make. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r Let's Read Official. and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with... Oh, fuck, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to give a shout out to Slappy Ham. Slappy's Hams. Slap them hams, daddy. God, everything's daddy now. I'm sorry, guys. You guys do it to me. Huge spank you. Huge spank you. No, I'll say thank you. Just to be professional. Huge thank you to Slapped Ham for lending his voice in today's video. He makes all kinds of amazing paranormal and out of this world content. Please head over to Slapped Ham's channel and subscribe to M. Spanky Hammies. Slapped. You gotta slap that ham. How do you submit a story? So you want to submit a story to... Well, I'll be saying it in the outro. Actually, let me just do it in the outro. I'll tell you. So you can check the description box down below. We'll give you the links as well in case you don't hear this one. But kill two birds with one stone. Ready, rock and roll. Go. Okay. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Huge thank you to Slapped Ham for lending his voice in today's video. He makes all kinds of amazing paranormal and out-of-this-world content. Please head over to Slapped Ham's channel now and maybe even subscribe to him. That would be sick. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let's Read Official, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured in the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. Oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. I should just keep that in the video. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. What was I gonna say? Do you guys remember? Think for me, guys. What does my handwriting look like? I don't remember. I haven't... It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. I've heard it described from... Because I said one time to my friend, I was like, I like your handwriting. He's like, what do you... He's like, I really like yours. Yours is like graffiti. And I'm like, thanks. I guess it's like a nice thing to say. Oh yeah, the Chief Snuggie. I'm going blanky mode. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, always go blanky mode. Once I cussed right after Hey Friends like a year ago, you died. Yeah, that might be pretty funny to have it after. What does me face look like? Oh, it's like, you know, it's got skin and a nose and I guess eyeballs or something. Some other stuff that goes on faces. It's pretty much like Humpty Dumpty. No, not Humpty Dumpty. What's his name? Potato Head. Where you can just put whatever you want there, you know? You can just create a custom... Guys, what you should do... Everybody wants a face reveal? Just create a custom face reveal. Everybody gets a potato head and just makes their own... This is Let's Read. This is him. Here he is. Face reveal. I had it in the power in my hands the whole time. But, guys, thank you again for an amazing... Which actor do I look like? Fuck, I have no idea. I guess, like... Maybe Denzel Washington? I don't know. Denzel Washington or, like... The guy who played Loki. Like a mix of those two. And, Sandra Bullock. all just morphed into a ball. And Brian Peppers. But yes, guys, thank you again for such another amazing stream down in the books. So the new video, I'll be editing the audio here. Might grab a shower and go to bed, but definitely going to get the audio out first on Patreon. It's just $1 a month if you want to support there. Always appreciate that. And then I will be releasing the video as normal on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, East Coast of the United States. You can adjust accordingly. And then, yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Just come hang on the Discord. You can chat with me. Maybe catch me in a VC one time, a video call, or not a video call, a voice call. I don't even have a webcam, to be honest, so I wouldn't even be able to show my face. It'd be impossible. It's impossible. But yes. So thank you again, guys. Much love to you. Thank you so much for your generosity and your positivity and just amazingly fun atmosphere. I appreciate that so much. And yes, Jace, we shall see you again, so soon. Good night. Have a beautiful time.